Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to day one of your 3-day handstand kickstart journey. So with this kickstart journey, day one is all going to be about foundation. So just building those hands, that framework of just where your body should be when you're upside down. Day two, we're going to work on nothing but how to work your balance with your hands. So a lot of people forget when we're standing on our feet, how much our feet actually balance us in day-to-day life. So we're going to do that same thing, but with our hands. And once you get really good at that, we're going to move to day number 3, which is really just learning how to fall out of your handstand, which is a lot of people need to learn how to do so they can take their handstand off the wall and not use a spotter, and they can just handstand in the middle of the room. So with these 3 days, I think you're going to get this handstand under lock and you're just going to nail it. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so with this foundational video, we're going to obviously work on the basics of how you should place your hands and arms, but then we're going to work into my 4 favorite poses that I think everyone should master when they're trying to master a pencil handstand. So let's go ahead and get right into it. You're going to need 4 blocks for those poses that I'm talking about, but not just yet. We're just going to start with the basics. So go ahead and come into a tabletop. Bring your hands right under your shoulders, your knees right under your hips, and let's just naturally see where your hand placement is. So whatever your natural hand placement is, that's probably just where your body feels most comfortable. It's just the most natural. We might change that a little bit, we might not. So with this, I want to play around, see how you feel by pointing the index finger forward. And if that is too externally rotated, maybe you point your middle finger forward. But me personally, I like to point my index finger forward so I get that external rotation. It opens up the eye of the elbow to the front of the room. So that is key. You never want to internally rotate your arm. That's when you lose all your strength. So go ahead and here, look at Samantha's foundation. She likes to go index finger forward. I might have something to do with that. Look at the eyes of the elbows. They're open up to the front of the room. They're not internally rotated. So when you internally rotate here, look what that does with her shoulders. Her shoulder girdle, it's internally rotated. She has no strength. But when she externally rotates it, yes, she gets that natural lift. Now her scapulas are open. This is where you're strong. So this is how I personally like to have my base. If you feel good here, go ahead and bring the hips up and come to a down dog. Awesome. So right here, this will show you if it's really comfortable or not. And go ahead and maybe inhale, roll into a plank real quick, Sam. And then exhale back to down dog. You can do this a few times, just do that a couple more times to loosen up the shoulders. So this will show you how that alignment is, just rolling over on top of your shoulder and back to down dog. Awesome, let's stay here in down dog. So if you haven't done the down dog before, if you're not a yogi, it's okay. What we want to do in down dog is keep the scapula open. So go ahead and show them a bad down dog where you're internally rotated. Yeah, so you see how she's internally rotated and now she's collapsing here. You got some impingement on the shoulder and traps. We want to stay externally rotated. Yes, it opens that up. Now she's strong. That same concept is going to be there for every one of your handstands. So once you get this concept down, you're going to be thanking me, I promise. So go ahead and come down out of that. And we're going to come into our first pose. So it's a plank pose. So nice one to warm up the body. We're just going to step the feet back, get your hand placement good, and we're going to come up into a plank. So what I want to add here is the difference between a bad plank and a good plank. So a bad plank is right here. You let the belly button relax. You see how she's just slouching here. A good plank is, yes, you want to lengthen that lower back, tuck in the core. So that's what you want to keep in mind when you're doing your handstands. You want to keep that straight line. You don't want your hips to be sagging out. Okay, first off, she's getting tired now probably a little bit. So this is great for a warm up. So go ahead and while you're in this plank, go ahead and lean your shoulders over your hand a little bit. Just count to 5 and see how hard that is. So I just want you to notice. Yes. I just want you to notice, you can go ahead and come down for a second. I just want you to notice what happens when you lean your shoulders over, how much harder it gets. And again, I'm just gonna keep saying it over and over. When you're in your handstand, it all applies the same exact way. So when you're up in your handstand, you do not want your shoulders to lean over your hands too much. It's just impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but
it's very hard.
You better be strong. So let's do that one more time. So the plank is good. Her shoulders are right above the hands. You're gonna keep note of that the whole time. Her abs are engaged. Her spine is nice and long. This is a perfect plank. The only thing I would add a little bit, she's doing good, is to open up a little bit more here. Yes, that's great. This is a perfect plank. So right here, again, those rhomboids need to stay open. Open the scapula nice and broad. This is a perfect plank. If you stay nice and broad and open in your handstands, you're gonna stay strong and you're gonna have a lot more balance. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into the second pose. So you might need your 4 blocks. If you don't have 4 blocks and you only have 2, which is probably most of you out there, we're gonna use a towel or a blanket for the front. So go ahead and come to your plank one more time, just so we can set these under your legs. So we're gonna work on building that pencil handstand alignment first. So I'm gonna bring 2 blocks right above her thighs, and they're just gonna go right above her knees. So she's gonna go ahead and come down here. The knees are gonna actually, yep, the knees come right behind it. That's perfect. And her chest is gonna fall on the ground. So right here is where I say you might need a towel to put on your arm. You might use a blanket. But if you have 4 blocks, we're gonna put these blocks right here. And she's gonna reach out her arms. Yeah, a little Superman pose. Get it to where your elbow is on the block. Awesome. Now we're ready and set. So go ahead and keep those cues for your plank in mind. Yes, let's go ahead and engage the core first. Lengthen the lower back. Awesome. Squeeze the feet together maybe. Yes, reach the toes long. And now look, she's in a perfectly straight line. Maybe pull up the hands. Really imagine you're in a handstand. Yes. So this is a perfectly straight line. If you can get this pose and hold it for 30 seconds, that's wonderful. It's going to give you a lot of core strength and a lot of shoulder stability. Go ahead and come down. So go ahead and flip around. Go ahead and come up. And we're going to do the exact opposite pose of that. So go ahead and move your blocks. She's going to lie down on her back. We're going to take these first 2 blocks and put them right under her heel. Actually, you only need 1 block for this. So her heels are going to come on that block. This is called a hollow pose variation. So go ahead and curl up like you're doing a crunch. And I'm going to put this one under your back a little bit more. Yeah, right there. That might be too low, might be too high. Is that good? Awesome. So from here, go ahead and relax for a second, Sam. Just lie down. Awesome. See how her chest is so lifted up? So what does she have to do to even this out? She's going to lift up her hips, give a nice little thrust in. And this pose is perfect because it makes you come into a straight line. If she was going to lift her hips too far up, try to. She actually can't. So this is actually a really good point because the block is too low for her. So we're going to raise this block up a little bit, come onto her back more. There we are. Her heels come on the block. Now her back is here. There we go. Now her shoulders are off the ground. So when she lifts her hands up, her head off the ground, try to get in a perfectly straight line. That is perfect. She is perfectly straight. Hips are engaged. Try to lift your hips up to the ceiling. Yeah, see how she can't? That's why this pose is perfect for giving your body that cue of like, okay, now we're straight. Once you get here, maybe breathe for 30 seconds, and you're good. Go ahead and come down. So those 2 poses are my favorite, just so you all know. If you master both of those 2 poses, you'll be very good at a pencil handstand, or at least knowing where your body is at in a pencil handstand. So going for number 3, go ahead and come into Virasana pose, which is hero pose right here. Just sitting nice and tall with flat feet. So she's just going to sit down nice and even. So right away, go ahead and lift your hands up to the ceiling fan. So right away, she has a little bit of arch in her back, but not too much. This is very good. So all we're going to do here, the very fun pose, is I'm going to put these 2 blocks on her hands. Make sure she has flat hands, so as if she's pushing on the ground. She's in a real handstand right now. So all I want you to do here is knit together the front ribs. Yes, see how her back stayed there, but her ribs stayed a little bit more knitted. Now she's more of a straight line. She's not just arching her chest. So what a lot of you might do at first, just to give you a little bit of awareness, you're going to be looking up like this. It's going to look like this, and your chest is going to want to arch up. You're going to want to look at the ceiling. But we want to get it to where we can be right here in a straight line with our hands going all the way up, hand, shoulder to hip, one straight line. So go ahead and show them a bad one. Arch your chest up. Yeah, see this arch? You don't want to have too much of that in a handstand. You come into a banana. Yes, control the pelvic floor, knit together the front ribs. This is perfect. If you have a partner, they want to really give you a good exercise, put a little pressure right here. Yeah, find 5 breaths. I'm not going to make you do more. And that's good. So there, that is the 3rd pose, and it's one of my favorite just to keep the front ribs knitted, and it shows people what they're doing with their chest. And if you have really tight shoulders, this is something to really work on, keeping this knitted together while you open this up here. So it's very fun. I'm going to save the 4th pose for another video, just because I'm going to feel like we're going to stop with those 3 poses. But just remember, though, all of those cues will be the same exact cues when we get into your pencil handstand. So now that you're ready, a little bit warmed up, we're going to start into a handstand. So we're going to teach you how to kick up first. So go ahead and turn around here. And go ahead and show them a regular kick up. So your hands are going to be about a foot away from the wall. And she's going to kick up into a scissor kick. So it's called a scissor kick. Awesome. That is the goal of what we want to do. But I'm very aware a lot of you might not be able to just kick up like that. And that's okay. Go ahead and come down. So we're going to show them a little bit of that momentum jump. So come into a down dog. And just go ahead and bring your right foot up all the way. So if you want some momentum as you're coming in, what we like to do, I show this in a lot of my classes, is find a big inhale here. And as you exhale, pull the knee into the chest. We're going to step the foot down right here. See how her shoulders are leaning forward? And then she kicks up. Yes. So let's show them that all together in one little seamlessly smooth transition. You inhale, lift the foot up. Exhale, pull it in, lean forward, kick up. Awesome. That gives you some momentum. So go ahead and try the other side. That was her opposite side, by the way. And she still did it. Inhale. Exhale. You pull forward, lean forward. Awesome. I'm going to show you one thing. So go do this one more time. She's doing this perfect. So watch her shoulders. Do this very slow-mo. Watch her shoulders the whole time. You lean forward, come right here, and they stop right about here before she kicks up. So I don't want you to bring your shoulders too far ahead. Show them what it looks like when your shoulders drop too far. Remember that plank right here? This is how you headbutt the ground or the wall. We don't want that. So go ahead and do one last one. Just go ahead and pay attention to her shoulder and the momentum she picks up going. Awesome. That's what I think is going to help a lot of you. It's helped a lot of my students. But if you're not yet to that spot, it's fine. We're just going to use a chair. So come into your down dog again. If she didn't have me right now, I would just put a chair right here to where she could put her foot right up on his and she can kick right up. If you don't have a chair and you have a spotter, she's just going to lift up one leg. I'm going to place it on my shoulder and she's going to engage her core, lift up the other leg and bring it all the way to the wall. Awesome. So either or, if you have a chair, you can use a chair. If you don't have a chair, you use a spotter. So with that, just do the best you can. It's going to come. It takes a lot of muscle memory. And once you get up there, it'll be great. So let's go ahead and show them what to do once we are up there. You good? A lot of handstands today. So she's going to go ahead and kick up. And we're just going to pause. So once you're in your handstand, I just want you to come here and take note of, again, how's your hands doing? She looks good. Her elbows are opened up to the front. Everything looks good. Her shoulders are right above her hands. That's perfect. If you are leaning the shoulders forward, I want you to take note of that and open up the heart more. And if you're good from there, I see her breathing. Now she's getting it. Her hips are falling over a little bit over top. Yes, now she hip forward. Now she's more stacked. And she might balance before she comes off. You see how she did that? So really just find out where your shoulders are. Make sure they're right above the hands. And then start playing around with the pelvic floor. So I'm going to go ahead and show one rep or two. So again, with your shoulders here, my shoulders are right above. If you're right here, take note. Go ahead and take a picture, take a video of yourself, anything that'll help you know. Once you feel good at the shoulder, right here, I still have some weight on my right foot. So I know I can hip in just a little bit, and now I'm balancing. So you come to where you find that nice balance to where you come off the wall very lightly, and you just mess around your foundation. So again, today's all about foundation to where I want you to work with both feet. So go ahead and come up with the other foot one time. Do one more scissor leg kick up. Awesome, that's okay. There we go. Awesome. So again, the shoulders are good. Maybe she hips forward a little bit. You see how this foot comes light? And she takes control with her hands maybe a little bit before she comes down. And that's fine. Awesome. So that's a scissor. So the last thing today I want to show you is to put this all together to make sure your hips are aligned, because I have a feeling that a lot of you're having trouble with your pelvic floor. It's the hardest. It's very easy to see if your shoulders are right above your hands, but it's hard to see whether your hips are out or inward. So with that, I have a perfect pelvic method. That's what I call it, pelvic floor method. She's going to put her hands a little bit further away from the wall, maybe a foot, foot and a half. I'll go just a little bit further. Yeah. You're going to have to experiment with this at home. So go ahead and come up, kick up into a scissor. Awesome. So from here, what we're going to do is I'm going to have, you should really record yourself at home with this, I promise. I want her to point this foot straight up in the air. Yeah, so she might think it's straight right now, but it's almost come a little bit forward. Now it's straight. So from here, I'm going to have her bend at this knee and point this toe. Awesome, stay right there. So once you find this position, this is the best. Her shoulders are good, so look where her hips can come forward just a little bit more, and now she's feeling it. Point this leg straight up. She feels perfectly straight here, and she can make this right toe very light to where she might be able to hold this and balance, come off. That's awesome. I wouldn't even worry too much about balancing at first. I would really just get that one leg straight, feel your body connection, and keep that toe on the wall, and just feel it. If you can lift up that second foot, that's awesome. But if not, again, it's just all about finding that hips right in the middle. So let's do one time the other way. Just to show them one last rep. Again, you don't want to be too close to the wall in this one because you'll really see why once you hop up. Just go ahead and hop up, scissor kick up. Perfect. So now the other leg is on the wall, left foot, left knee comes to a bend. Awesome. The toes get nice and light. So this is probably what a lot of you would do at first. Your straight leg will probably be pointing towards the wall. Yeah. Let's go ahead and hip in just a little bit more. Right there it is. And she's light. She's bouncing right now. Nice. That's amazing. High five for that one. And that's all for today. That's your foundation. So again, just being smart with how you place your hands, being smart where you open up your elbows to. You don't want them going in. Being smart about where your shoulders are, make sure they're not too far ahead. They're never going to be too far back that way, or you're going to come down. Don't worry about that. And after your shoulders, it's all about your pelvic floor. So once you get your pelvic floor in line, you'll be balancing way easier with those hands, which is the next video. So I'll see you soon. Until the next time, namaste.